Inuarata no Sahai is still my amiable name, and I'm elated to come your way this morning and make your day a premium value one. Now, imagine as a team head, imagine as a CEO, imagine as a manager, you walk into your organization, you walk into your department, you walk into your office or your business place, and then you find your employees energized and passionate and joyful about the work that they are doing. Now, that is a premium value for you as a CEO, as a team leader, or as an HOD of that department in that organization. But the reality is that such a scenario, such a picture doesn't happen by accident. You have to make it happen. Happy employees are not found, they are made. So you need to be very intentional as a CEO, as an employer, as a boss, to make sure that you create, an environment that will make your employees to be passionately engaged, passionately committed and dedicated to work. Create employees that are happy about their work. Create employees that love their work. And this is what has informed the topic of our conversation this morning, which is 4 ways to make your employees love their work. 4 ways to make your employees love their work. Now, there are so many ways to make your employees love their work, but this morning, as time will allow us, we will look at 4. And the first one is for you as the boss, for you as a CEO, for you as a team head or manager, to avoid draining their creativity with unhealthy supervision. Avoid draining their creativity with unhealthy supervision. Now, another way you will call unhealthy supervision is micromanaging. Micromanaging stifles creativity. That is the danger of unhealthy supervision. It locks creativity. It locks the ability of employees to take initiatives on their own. And if employees are unable to take initiatives on their own, they will not be passionate about the work. They will not love the work. Remember, we are looking at 4 ways to make your employees love their work. If you want your employees to love their work, you need to give them that latitude, that space for them to own the task. Your focus shouldn't be to control them. It shouldn't be to muzzle them. It shouldn't be to micromanage them. Your focus should be to guide them. Very important. You guide them. You are there like a referee, as it were, like an umpire. You just guide them, not just being with them, or having a close marking with them, as they call it out there, where they don't have that liberty to take initiative. They don't have that freedom, to be creative, to be innovative. And that will not augur well for the organization. It will not even favor you, the boss. A time may come that, employees may need to make initiatives or take initiatives on their own to solve, an imminent organizational problem or an imminent team problem. And because the employer or the boss or the HOD or the team leader cannot be quickly reached, they find it difficult to do so because there have been a culture of not giving them the liberty, of not giving them the freedom, to learn how to take initiatives. And that will not be in favor of the system. It will not help the growth of the system. So if you want your employees to love their work, you need to try as much as possible to avoid draining their creativity with unhealthy supervision. Very important. Now, the second thing you need to also do for you to ensure that your employees love their work is for you to listen to the employees, to understand them, not to plot a negative response against them. Listen to your employees, to understand them, not to plot a negative response against them. Now, listening is the hallmark of true leadership. A great leader is a leader that listens, and not just listen, to keep quiet and then later start talking, having bottled up so many grievances against the employees or team members, but you listen to get clarity. You listen to gain clarity on perspectives. You listen to gain clarity on views of the employees. And then you respond objectively, not emotionally. You respond objectively. As a leader, understand that listening enriches the quality of your response. So if you are a listener, employees, will have that liberty, the other freedom to, often bring things before you, and then, you, like I said, you respond objectively to these, to things that they have said, to their perspective and to their views. This is very, very important, because if you are the type that only just listen, you bottle up grievances, and then when they are through talking, you just start unleashing, negative, words on them, you are going to most likely create an atmosphere of negative silence. And negative silence is that situation whereby, people just become, they get into their shares, they no longer talk, they no longer bring their best to the table, and that will not make your employees to love their work. Remember, we are looking at 4 ways to make your employees to love their work. The first one I said, avoid draining their creativity with unhealthy supervision. The second one I just explained now, I said, listen to your employees to understand them, not to plot a negative response against them. Because we see situations whereby some leaders, some team heads, some managers only just keep quiet for their employees to finish talking, and then when they are responding, they are not responding objectively based on what the employees brought to the table. They are just responding based on personal grievances they may just have against these employees. If you want your employees to love their work, such should be avoided. Very, very important. Then the third one, be patient with learners. Growth takes time. Be patient with learners. Growth takes time. This is very, very important. Now, the level of proficiency in executing tasks and assignments that you do today as a boss, as a leader, as an employer, the level of proficiency you display, that you bring to the table, that you exhibit, you didn't acquire that level of proficiency within just 1 week or 2 months. It took you years. And during those years of your going through the learning curve to master that task, to master, that particular skill, or come to that level of proficiency, the leaders that were leading you, the bosses that you were working with, they were patient with you. They exercised that patience, and they, gave you time to learn and make your mistakes, learn from your mistakes. And today, you are operating at this high level of proficiency and efficiency. In the same vein, this is the kind of disposition you should equally have towards your employees. If you want them to love their work, you need to be patient with them to also learn, and at the end of the day, be able to bring their A game to the table. Very important. The concluding one this morning is avoid triggering negative emotions to avoid negative energy. Avoid triggering negative emotions to avoid negative energy. Now, we have seen situations where leaders, out of omission or commission, they trigger, they trigger their team members, they trigger their employees, and they trigger them in the area of sensitivity, which at the end of the day, you see a situation whereby these employees are demotivated, they are demoralized, they no longer want, they are no longer having that psychological, environment or psychological atmosphere, or that psychological emotional state to bring their A game to the table, to bring their best to the table. Why? Because a negative environment has been created. I believe that lots of value have been added to you today, and just connect with me via my email, send your questions across, and I provide answers to you. I'll be seeing you next week, Wednesday, and when I return, I'll remain amiable. Inuagata no Sahai. God bless you.